pick.
All right, Katherine, 2022 is here. But before we start a new year of Cheaties podcast, we need to find out what we learned in 2021.
Let's dive into it. The good, the bad, the fugly.
Hey, y'all, it's Lace.
It's also Katherine, and what have you done? You haven't learned your lessons from the past year. Now you're in a new year, and you're still stuck in old bad habits, listening to Cheaties podcast.
That's right. And if you are new, what a way to start off your new year. With listening to a new podcast that's going to take you down rabbit holes that you were not prepared for.
Yeah, maybe it's going to drum up some trauma. Maybe you'll learn some lessons. But most of all, we guarantee you, you will be dumber at the end of this.
Dumber and smarter. How is that a thing? I was trying to describe you as that the other night, as either the dumbest smart person that I know or the smartest dumb person that I know. And I feel like that's what we're making our listeners.
Yeah, I feel it's the trickiest dumb person. That's how I would describe myself.
The trickiest.
God, I feel like I know she's dumb, but she's pretty tricky with it. Sometimes she'll mix up words so well. I feel like I just didn't know that word. It was such a good word. I didn't even know it.
See, that's why I think it's the opposite. That's why sometimes I'm like, this bitch is so smart, but she says things that makes herself sound dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm confused. It's so confusing.
I'm like a Pee Wee Herman, you know? On screen, it's a silly. I'm like Mr. Beans. Like, you know, like I'm on screen.
It's just one bean. It's one bean. Mr. Bean.
Is it Mr. Bean? No, it's Mr. Beans.
No,
I'm getting in shenanigans. I'm falling through potholes.
Yep.
But cut. And when the camera stops rolling, I'm a Harvard professor.
Yes.
I walk off screen and I've got 12 assistants following me behind, and I'm a millionaire.
Yeah. And you're reading large books.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get it. That's you. Well, that gives the new listeners a little peek into who we are. Katherine, if we're going into, like I said, we're in a new year. Before we get into our interviews that are going to start back next week, and before we get into our catch-up that we're going to have in a couple days from now, I thought it would be a good idea for us to just kind of go through and see what lessons we learned and what lessons we thought that our callers might have learned, hopefully, or maybe that our listeners have maybe learned over the past year. We could be right, we could be wrong, we're not sure, but we're going to recap it one way or the another. I thought that's a good way to start it out. What do you think?
I think it is really good. I just was still thinking about the Mr. Beans thing. What happens when the camera stops?
Once again, one bean, singular bean,
and they're like, Mr. Beans, here's your lunch, and he looks down at the plate and there's beans on it, and he throws it in one of his assistants' faces. And okay, I'm not gonna eat this crap. So I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from 2021. Maybe how to move on from a bit, or a ex-lover who has done us wrong.
Yeah, because there's one thing we'll never learn, which is how to move on from a bit.
Correct.
But what we can learn as a group, as the Cheaties family, is how to move on from an ex-lover who's shown us their colors.
Correct.
I would like to get into that first, honestly, because I think that's the first list that I started with. What did we learn in this past year? And I made a little list. It's not everybody, obviously, that we've interviewed over the past year, but the ones that stood out to me that kept going back after people cheated on them. They heard it. They saw it. They had the evidence. They knew for a fact, and they did not get this person out of their life for one reason or the other.
Yeah. I have one specific episode that pops into my head over and over again. Because I wrote a list. I'm good. Episode 144 and 145, it was a double whammy. Heather A.
Yes, that's what I have too. Yep.
Yeah, she's the queen of going back.
Girl, 15 years in that relationship. 15 years from high school all the way through him marrying that girl.
Yeah, that's not her.
That's not
that
her.
he was courting the whole time he was with her. So, in my opinion, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, I'm going to call Cheaties podcast. I think that should be the lesson learned there.
That should also be, did you just come up with a new tagline?
I think so. Yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Or it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 47 times. I'm calling Cheaties podcast.
This is going to be a two-parter on Cheaties podcast.
Because that was such a long relationship, going back and forth. And like I said, she knew she had the hard evidence and still did it. And this has been multiple people. And what's interesting to me, it's always these like really long relationships. And for the most part, what I've noticed is these are relationships that start either in high school or immediately after high school. These people get a hold on you.
Yeah. And it's because you're vulnerable then, and it's like a first love thing, and you're so attached to the first love experience because it's the first time you're feeling these like intense emotions and attachments, and it's hard to let those go if it goes on too long. But this is another lesson I wrote down. What you think is great for you in the moment, once you leave it and move on, you will realize there's much better things out there for you, and you're better for leaving.
I feel like that is the overall truth to every single story that we've heard, whether it was from the side of the people who were cheated on, which is the majority of people we talk to, or from the side of people who've actually admitted to us that they were the cheaters. That's 100% true. At the time, it either feels like, how could I ever come back from this? How could I ever go on? How could I live without this person? Or how could I live with myself after what I did to this person? And what you learn afterward is it was toxic for a reason. And now that you're out of it, that's like removing toxins out of your diet, out of your life, out of your body.
Yeah.
And you can...
New Year juice cleanse. Remove those toxins.
Get those toxins out. That's right. Take those fiber pills, Yeah. Get that shit out your life. But you always realize like later, like, oh my God, I could survive. I was fine without all of this, and it will be okay afterward. But to go back on what locks in on you at a young age is we also tell ourselves these lies. We tell ourselves... We make up this imaginary story, right? And that brings you back to Spencer Bland, who we had on the Drink, Dance, Die, who he had same kind of thing. It was like a decade long back and forth with this chick from high school who had this hold on him that he could not get away from. And he kept going back, but it was because he had this story he made up, and he wanted the story. He kept saying
he wanted his Taylor Swift song. That's
right. He wanted that rom-com. He wanted that, well, it doesn't work now, but it will eventually. This will all pay off, and that never happens.
Yeah.
It never happens. Now, if you lock into someone young and it is perfect and wonderful, and y'all make it through the hard times of college, if you go to college, and then you make it through the first hurdles you have as a relationship, but you're together the whole time, that has potential to last a lifetime. It totally does. My parents met in high school. It's rare, but it happens, and people can stay together through the absolute hardest shit in the world. And it's possible, but my parents never broke up and got back together, broke up, got back together. They never did that. They never cheated on each other and then ran off and did a whole other thing and came back, and then the other one had to chase the other one down. If that would have happened, there's no way in hell they'd still be together 40 years later. You know?
They just slept on the couch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, one doesn't run off to Europe to find themselves.
Yeah.
Or, like the other one doesn't run off to another city and start a new relationship with 3 other people and then lie and go back and forth and come visit you. Like that kind of shit doesn't last.
Over. For the most part.
It's over. That story is over. We have to let go of the story.
Little mini, I feel like we touched on a couple of things in there, like these little mini lessons we learned is like a lot of times go to college single, those people you are in a relationship when you're young, high school and college, those are formative years in your life where you change monthly. And your personality changes, and what you want in life, and it changes. And so that person that you might fall in love with in high school or college is going to be different out of high school and college, and so are you. And what you want and everything else, and you also haven't experienced anything, and you got to give yourself a chance to go do that.
This is your first time out of the nest, out of the comfort of your parents. I mean, whether you're going to college or you're going to pursue your dreams in like LA or New York, or you're going to go study abroad for a year, 10 years, or whatever you're about to do, that is a completely new time of your life. You've never had that kind of freedom before. You've never had, I mean, most people, but you've never had to make your own schedules like that and be responsible for yourself. And it's tough. And some people are great at it immediately and some people aren't, but we all deserve the freedom to figure out who the hell we are without the comfort of our parents' roof and their guidance, and it's 10 times harder on a partner if you're also trying to be there for them while you're barely being there for yourself,
Right. Yeah, you're right.
You got to be a full person, but we all stick to that, like this romantic idea. And we got to remember those are the movies. That's not real life.
And another lesson, we covered in episode 167, a little bonus episode with Abby Finch called Rom-Com Truth Bomb.
Yeah.
Even in rom-coms, even in the movies, you can't have a rom-com without cheating.
That's right. I think that was a wild revelation for me this past year, because I love rom-coms, as we learned. Yeah. I know them all backwards and forwards, and you couldn't name, Julia Roberts out of a lineup, but that's okay.
But I love Remember the Titans. I love Schindler's List. I love Shawshank Redemption.
That was quite an eye opener for sure, and I wonder how many listeners too heard that and thought, "Holy shit." That's exactly right. There's and then it's since that episode, I swear there's been a couple times of like, winter sadness or whatever, when these shows are getting canceled and everything. And you're just sitting there and I'm trying to like kill the time, and I've got a rom-com playing in the background, and it has hit me. Or I just remember a movie I used to love, and it hits me like a ton of bricks. Like, holy shit, the whole like plot to this is this person was cheating, or you're cheating on the person you're supposed to love to find the love of your life. I mean, come on. We can't be making these lifelong decisions based on, films and Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah.
It's not a reality. You got to listen to your gut. And even if you're like, well, wouldn't it be a beautiful story to tell our grandkids one day? You're not going to have grandkids. They're cheating on you. No, not with that person.
Yeah, I was like,
no, I'm not saying this.
Right.
No, I'm not saying you'll never have grandkids.
This episode just took a dark turn.
No, that's not what I meant.
And now we're going to get into the end of the world. We've got about 6 months left, and you're not going to have grandchildren. The earth is burning.
Sorry. Let me.
And this has been the episode. Tune into our last episode ever.
Let me be clear. Okay, so I can use August as an example from August Run with episode 169. It's just like he wanted this person to be his forever person, right? Yeah. And it's like people get together and they fantasize, and they're like, but won't this be great to tell our kids one day? You're not having kids with that person. You're not having grandkids with this person. This person is half-ass interested in you. They're wanting to go out to Scottish and get up underneath some kilts. They don't. Did I say Scotland or Scottish? They want to go to Scotland.
What's the
either
diff?
way. That doesn't matter. They're wanting to get into some stuff. They're wanting to hook up with some NFL players. They got lists, and they're going to hit everything on that list. And guess what? After they've explored the world, they're not coming back to you, and if they do, it's not going to be in a healthy way.
They always have looked at you as somebody that they can come back to while they're gallivanting around.
While
you
they're
are
getting
that category in their book.
That's right.
It is a sealed book. You can't remove yourself from that, their viewpoint as such as that. So they're always going to treat you like that.
Well, that's their habit with you. They have created a habit of, well, this is the person that's safe to come back to because I can do whatever I want and cheat on this person, and they'll still be there. They're not seeing you as the goal, as the ultimate goal. They're not like, oh, let me get all this out of my system so I can come back to the one I love. If you were their one and only and you were their future and you were the one they loved, they wouldn't be doing that shit.
Yeah. And and they're not going to change.
No, they're not going to change.
Even if you set boundaries and you're like, well, if you do this, I'm out. They're not going to be like, well, okay, I guess I'm going to change my ways for you, even though I've treated you in such and such ways for years and years and years.
No.
Also, speaking of that, not going to have a family or children with you. You know what? They could, like in episode 118 with Phil Reeves. But here's a little mini lesson I learned. Paternity test. Because maybe you think they are having a child with you, but no, they're not. They're having a child with your best friend down the street. Yeah. But you're going to raise that kid for years. Until you figure out why is my son growing a beard just like Steve is down the street, but I can't even grow sideburns. This is weird.
And also, why does my 6-year-old have a beard? You know, there's all kind of questions.
It is.
But yeah, that's holy shit, dude. Yeah, paternity test. Yeah. Very important. That's great because you even if you think you're good, that's so great. You think you're gonna have family with this person, and you do, but it's not your family.
Correct.
Wow.
Would you say you're more of the Maury part of our show, and I'm more of the Jerry Springer? Or
This is tough. Because how would you describe the difference between the two? One creates and lets the mayhem happen.
Yeah.
And sits back and enjoys it.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah,
that's me.
Yeah, that's you. So. That's the Springer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the Maury is the one who's trying to get down to the answers and is trying to help the person get their shit together and see the truth and walk away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just like, no, look at that chair. It's loose. You could grab it. You could hit that person with it.
I feel like
you should go for it.
I feel like that leg of that chair is about to come off. I think it looks just like a baseball bat.
Yeah.
I think if you wanted to fix it real quick,
if you want to
just
pick
it
something. Up or toss it over their head. Yeah, I think that's 100% true. I don't know, this whole going back to people thing. We gotta. I hope that the listeners who are in situations like this also understand that we have nothing but sympathy and empathy for these situations. We're not trying to say we are the end all be all. We know it all by any means. I mean, but I feel like we have like a master's degree, if not a PhD apiece in red flags and exactly how these stories are going to end up. You could always find maybe an exception to the rule, but I think for the most part, we've got it down to a science. I think we know at this point, and people show you who they are. They always do.
Yeah.
And
correct.
If they're cheating on you, they're gonna keep cheating. They might go on to another person and not cheat on that next person. But like we just said, once they have learned to do that with you, and that you're a safe space for them to get away with their bad habits, they're gonna fucking do it again.
Right. Okay. Okay. Now we need to move on to techniques.
Yes. Okay.
Because this is here. This is my favorite. I think we're gonna go into like the importance of going through, snooping. But
snooping. Snoop doggy dogging.
Yeah.
Snoop doggy dogging.
This is what I remember, and I've told myself this in a lot of different categories of my life, but you will specifically notice it in episode 88, an early episode in 2021 with Kiana Dancy.
I have this, yeah.
The universe will leave you clues.
It will. It 100% will. You just reposted this on our Instagram too. The chick who found the little item, the chick on TikTok who found the item in the house from the guy who cheated on her. Didn't you put that on our Instagram?
Yeah, I probably did. The one where, no, I don't remember.
You just did it.
Yes. What did she leave for her? She left her
a little something. It was like a little trinket. It was a little something. She's like, the last guy, or the last girl my boyfriend cheated on me with, she left. Her husband cheated on her like multiple times. We got to get that girl, by the way. But yes, that you're exactly right. I wrote down Kiana's too, the minister's mistress.
Because what did Kiana found? It was a necklace, wasn't it?
Ugly ass necklace. This falls to the fugly category. That fugly necklace with some turquoise and some feathers on it was in the sink or on the sink or
yeah. Just a little hint. Hey, this is not that I want to be single again, but if I'm ever single again and I'm just having a good fun time, I'm gonna come up with a little ornament that I leave at every guy's house.
Like
not
a serial
that I'm planning
killer.
on doing this, but if this ever happens, I would love to like just like something specific for me, like just a little like maybe just like a little pink Kleenex, or something that's very specific to me.
I'm ready. I love it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Like a little tchotchke. Okay.
Yeah, but you leave it in some place that's not apparent to the dude or whoever, but like in a upper drawer or something.
Okay. All right. So here's what my calling card would be. Okay. If I were single again and I was dating, if for those of you who are watching this episode on YouTube, this right here, and those of you who are listening, what I'm holding in my hand is a little stone squirrel. Okay, because those of you who don't know this about me, I have raised 2 abandoned squirrels before, and someone, I think, I'm going to get this wrong, but it could be Chester Drake. I think our friend Chester Drake might have gotten me this little stone squirrel.
That's really cute. That's perfect for you.
Love it. But it's freaking cute, right? It's adorable. Yeah. It's made out of something agate or I don't know. It's really cute. So anyway, something like this that's kind of small, but it's got some weight to it, right? So you get a bunch of these, and then what you do is you put a little note on the bottom. You put a little sticker note on the bottom, and it says, if you find this, he's cheating on you.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Or he's cheating on me with you. Okay. Yeah. Something like that. A little note, and then your phone number, and you put it on the bottom, and then you just put this somewhere in his house, because men don't look around. They don't know what's changed. They'll never know. I move shit around in the house all the time. Put it next to the cereals, or put it next to like in his spice rack. If he's got a spice rack, or hey, if he doesn't have a spice rack, in his bowl of loose ketchup and mustard packets. There you go. That's where, yes. Or his change jar or some bullshit.
Yeah.
If he's got the one shelf on his house with dusty books, stick this somewhere, and then you'll know. And every time you come to the house to come hang out, you'll see it, and it'll be in its little place, and you check it. You see if it's moved. And if he doesn't ask you about it and it's been moved, a girl has moved it, and she has seen it. But leave it as a calling card so that she can hit you up and go, hold tight. Tell me the story. What's going on? And she can have that phone call with you and go, he's telling me such and such, or hi, I'm his wife, and I've been, in Africa doing Doctors Without Borders for the past 6 months.
Correct.
Who are you?
Correct.
Let's talk. Right?
Yeah.
It's got to be a calling card between you and the other woman or the other man, depending on whatever the hell's going on.
Okay. Yep. Table, I have a lesson to tie to that. Okay? Here's my calling card, though. Again, I'm going to go back. It's going to be a Kleenex.
Okay, but
I'm gonna write my number on it. But then I am going to blow my nose in it, and because then that guy can't be like, no, it's not mine, because they will be like, you're not this stopped up. Only I am ever full of this much mucus ever, and I am daily.
It's true.
Just just full of mucus, and that girl's gonna be like, I'm not. I know that's not my mucus. That's 2.5 pounds of lard in there.
So what?
And then and he's going to be like, well, it's not mine. She's like, I don't remember you having a cold, and she'll remember. And then I'm going to write my number on it. It's going to get a little soggy, but And that's my calling card.
I do not think that's effective. I'm going to be honest with you, but it could be the bottom of the tissue box of pink tissues. Because if you're leaving dirty tissues, who are these dudes you're dating who are just letting your dirty pink lard-filled tissues
put it in like a back of a drawer,
sit around the house?
Just one. It's just one. You fold it up into a nice little square.
If they pick it up and it's filthy, they're not going to read the number on it and call you. Okay, you need something a little bit more permanent, Catherine, with your number on it.
Okay, how about a handkerchief?
Handkerchief. 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 Handkerchief?
Pretty sure I've got my nose into a lot of handkerchiefs.
Okay. Sure. So, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. A pink embroidered one.
Yeah. But I'll still blow my nose into it.
But your number will be embroidered on
it.
So they can find you. I like this. But it's very important because the universe will leave you little notes that someone has been in your space or in their space that they were not supposed to be there. There were so many little things. Remember that she went to his house and then after she moved in with him, that she went out of town. There was the feather necklace. And then like he doesn't put stuff up in the kitchen. Like she knows for a fact he doesn't put things away. And then she found like her chalice, like her, the cup that had her name on it, sparkles and shit. She found it like in a cabinet it doesn't belong in. And then her sunglasses were in the pantry.
Yeah.
She was like, this is like, looks like someone's like, oh shit, here's signs of a woman.
Yeah.
Let's hide all this stuff real quick as this other woman's coming over.
Smooth. It's smart to notice that.
You gotta pay attention to that little shit.
Yeah.
If you know how guys clean up, you know exactly how cleanly or uncleanly they are and where they put things and how organized or not they are. And pay attention to that shit. Where was stuff put up? Now, did his mom visit over the weekend? That's probably why shit's all in a different place. That's different. But you better prove that his mom was there.
Right. But, well, yeah, true. But at that point, like, doesn't your mom want you to be dating somebody?
True.
She's worried. She wants grandkids, But yeah, I agree. But that's
what are your other examples of going through stuff? Because I got like 8 more examples.
Well, I don't have all I was going to say is if you find some suspect things and you do like find out who that other person is, if you can, not that I did not take the high route, but it can be advantageous to befriend that other person because at that 100%. Point they may be able to answer some questions for you that will help you to move on.
Oh, some good examples of that. I've got a few of those. And I can't remember which episode number it was. I didn't write it down. It was early in the year. But Derek Marshall, remember how he befriended his cheating girlfriend's other guy?
Yeah.
And then they ended up living together as roommates.
Yeah, and that helps you cover the rent once you kick your significant other out. I mean,
there's so many, because you can get all the details of the situation. You can find out when it happened, how long, but then you also have someone on your team who was also betrayed by the same person. And then boom, you got a built-in roommate. Yeah. Which makes it, because a lot of people stick with a cheater because they're like, who's going to pay the other half of this rent?
Correct.
What am I going to do? Well,
yeah. Episode 82, Mandy McKelvey, fantastic episode. She becomes still best friends. With her boyfriend's other girlfriend. Yep. Once she befriended her, she finds out these people that she's been working with, who's always been kind of standoffish to her, they didn't not like her. They thought she had a terminal illness that he'd been telling them.
All right. So those of you who might be new to Cheaties, y'all have absolutely got, all of these episodes that we're talking about, you need to listen to, but specifically episode 82 that Catherine's talking about, 2 girls, one narcissist. That story was insane. That needs to be a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
That was insanity, pure insanity. He lied to everyone, people she was working with on a daily or weekly basis at this theater, thought that she was dying of cancer. And so they didn't talk to her, ask her about anything, didn't delve in, didn't tell her that he had 3-4 other girlfriends.
Because they were like, oh, she's sick. Why hurt her? her last few years.
In her last
here on
days.
Earth. Yeah.
Holy shit, that was wild.
And he said he told her like, you know, I can't break up with her and I don't want to hurt her, and yeah, she's pretty irrational and she can't accept that
she's going through a lot.
Yeah, so that's why she acts this way and da.
Jeez,
yeah,
Louise,
nuts episode.
Dude, so freaking crazy. But yeah, that's perfect. Then once she got rid of him, fixed a lot of problems because her and the chick who came to her and was like, hey, by the way, we're both dating the same guy. Like you said, they became best friends, still best friends to this day. And another reason people stay with someone is they're like, well, I'm going to miss my travel buddy, or Christmas is coming up and we got to go visit my family and I'm supposed to have a date. Guess who turned out to be her date for the holidays? The other woman. Remember, they traveled together. They had Christmas together. So that's a built-in date. You got a built-in roommate. You got a built-in date.
Yeah.
You got a built-in buddy to go to spring break with you once you find out they cheated at spring break, like in Kelly John's episode. When Kelly Johns came back and then she gets a phone call and she's like, dude's sitting here crying next to me, but I'm going through his phone. I need to know everything that happened. She's like, yeah, absolutely. Would love to tell you.
I got
you everything. Yeah, I got you, girl. This is what he tried to do. This is what he tried to say. But good luck with all that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
you get a built-in buddy.
Correct. So befriend the other.
It's hard to.
The other woman.
It is hard to.
Men.
You didn't.
Yeah,
you
didn't.
couldn't do it.
It was really fun
couldn't
leaving
either.
her the message I left her. And I'm good. I don't need her as my friend. But that was fun.
No. You didn't need her. And I didn't need my ex's mistress either. Because there's a difference between people who are actively cheating and they know when the other woman knows. It's a totally different situation when both people are being played, right? Yeah. Like in all those situations we listed, both people were being played and they were able to come together and go, oh, we've all been fucked over by this person. But in your case and in my case, the other people were very aware of our existence. Mine knew me for at least 2 years.
Yeah, that's the devil.
Looked me in my face. Looked me in my face. Let me overtip her at the bar. Came to my house.
We should send her an
to
invoice.
Pick his lying, cheating ass up.
Yeah.
Had the balls to drive in front of my apartment to get his ass.
Wow. Yeah. We should send her an invoice for at least $62 for all the overtipping.
At least. Yeah. It was more than that, but I will now with interest and everything else. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sometimes it is hard. You cannot befriend the other person if the other person knows of your existence and is actively doing this behind your back. In that case, when people are like, you should be mad at the man and not the other woman. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can be mad at both of them.
I agree.
So it doesn't have to be one or the other. Now, like I said, if you're both the victims, totally different story. Get together, start a group, start a podcast, start a therapy group, start a podcast. That's right.
Make a TikTok.
Okay. But always look into their shit. If you've got gut feelings and you've got red flags, look into their shit. We have a million examples of why that pays off.
Do you have any other specifics?
Oh yeah. Oh, I got you. So
Give
remember
them to me.
Jen O'Neill Smith, episode 96, Not So Nice Guy? And she's literally, she's not only his girlfriend, she is somehow now his secretary too. And is literally, he's got her doing work for him from home and all of this. And she sees in his emails these messages where he's talking shit about her to his group of friends and they're planning a trip without her. And it's like, she literally gave her all. She's doing everything. She's being as nice as can be. And also, this dude pursued her. Anyway.
I just am like...
go through their shit.
Yeah.
Go through their shit. TikTok Cockblock, episode 100, with Emily Zambrano. Now, granted, we have an update on that.
Yes, we do. They're back together.
Emily. What are you doing, Emily?
Sometimes they're back together, and they got their sweet little bodies.
They really
do. Up together, all over TikTok. But if there's any lesson I learned from Emily Zambrano's TikTok cock block, it is this. And I feel like we learned this at the genesis of this podcast.
Mm-hmm. That's a good word. Good word. Good word.
Yeah. You can totally turn your pain into
something
art
good
or wealth or success.
Mm-hmm. Or something that benefits you.
Yeah. We don't turn it into a podcast. We're already doing this, but call us. We turn it into an episode. Or you can channel that into a TikTok about how you let him know that you know he's cheating on you. And you've plastered all of the conversations you screenshotted between him and the other woman as his new bedroom wallpaper.
And all over his mirror. And all over his toilet seat.
Yeah.
That's still one of my absolute favorites. And even though, did it make a good TikTok? Did it make her go viral as hell? Totally. But that was 100% worth it. It's still one of my favorite ways to say, I know you're cheating and here's the evidence. That's a step up from just collecting receipts. That's collecting receipts, going to FedEx, printing those receipts out on color paper. I'm pretty sure she charged him or used his money to. I want to believe that, even if that's not what happened. I want to believe that she used his money somehow to print his own, like hundreds of color copies of his own cheating text messages and plastered them all over his house. But like you said, sometimes you do things like that. It's beneficial. So not only did it bump her up on social media, she also, now that they're back together, she has the upper hand. And she always will. Because she showed that you will not let anything get over on me. You do this shit again. You think that was bad? You just wait, baby.
Yeah, wait for TikTok part 2.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Follow my next one for part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And 276 million views.
Yep.
Let's go.
Hey,
60 seconds of terror.
To recap, there are ways that it can benefit you. Not everyone who cheats, we've said this, and I don't want to, what's the word for, I don't want to be a, I don't want to go back on what I said. I don't want to, what's the word I'm trying to use? Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. No.
You do know. Catherine, what's the word? You've got the good words today. I don't want to contradict myself. There you go. 2 points, Catherine. I don't want to contradict myself by saying, if someone cheats on you once, they're going to do it again, blah, 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 and then turn around and go, if they cheat, you can make it work out, and you can. Okay, but I'm not contradicting myself. I'm saying there is a way to do it. And I think that Emily, if it happens again, she's not putting up with that shit. And or she's going to use it to her advantage. And or she's going to do something that we've learned a lot about throughout the year, which is business marriage or business relationship, where, okay, I get it. I see what we signed up for. I see how you're going to treat this. Well, then this is what I'm going to get out of it. Find the benefits to being in that relationship. As long as you are not hurting and you're still getting yours and they're getting theirs, whatever agreement or, whatever y'all have together, cool. But you can make it work as long as you show them that shit's not going to happen again.
Yeah. I agree. But that shit has to be agreed upon before.
True.
That's got to be agreed. That's got to be like, yeah, all right, you can go do your thing, but I'm going to need this much money. And I'm going to need this many TV appearances with you and XX next. But that's got to,
and I'm going to need this new Corvette.
Correct. And I feel like those are more celebrity status situations.
Yeah.
Like we're a couple for the outside world, but in the inside, I hate your guts. You can go do your own thing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's more Hollywood.
Yeah, that's true. I'm curious, but I'm happy for Emily. She looks very happy online. But she also looks like she's getting hers. So kind of, it's kind of like whatever. All right. So a couple more examples of going through people's stuff and why it's important. Disney Princess, episode 122 with Carly Brienne. Dude was actively trying to have a relationship with like 17 other women. And it took, she trusted and trusted and trusted and trusted. And she was so innocent and so sweet. And she wanted to believe the story, and she wanted to have the whole thing, and it's going to work out. And she moved across the country for this dude, all of this. And then, red flag after red flag until she finally had enough. And she had to do some delving and went through his stuff and realized, oh, wait, who's that girl in that picture? Why is she standing there? Why'd she show up again? Why is this? Why is she over here in Orlando with him? Wait a second. And then delve in and then found all these other people. She did the research, and then she became friends with a lot of those girls. And I think most of them, if not all of them, got rid of his ass. So that was great. Went through his stuff. Tamika Soretti, episode 110 with the Texas two-step. She had to go through dude's stuff, and she took it a step further. Not only did she go through stuff, she showed up to his house. Looked in his back window to see for herself. Because he would not...
saw him on the couch together.
With his whole family. With a whole ass family.
The whole family. Yeah, dog was there. The dog was there.
Dog, the kids.
I don't know if the dog was there.
The address.
There was a hamster, though.
Yeah, but she had to find that address. She had to do some research. And she said, what is this address? This is so weird. You're telling me that you live here with me, but what's this other thing? I don't know. I don't remember how she found that address, but however she found that address, that's how she found the house. And she went there, looked through, and said, oh, okay. And then she knocked on the door. And there it was, all right there, right in front of her face.
With a pizza to deliver.
Yep, that's right. And then Holly Ballantyne, she did the same thing. Episode 104, she went through his shit, and she didn't believe his lies. She knew there was something going on, and she said, screw it, threw herself a reverse bachelorette party. Still one of my favorite things that someone's done. I feel like that should become a regular thing. Okay, and here, this one takes all. This one takes the absolute cake on why it's important to go through someone's shit. If there is if you have some suspicions. Episode 128. One ball, that's all. With Christy McCarty.
Yes. Yes. I wrote that one down. Yes.
Found out her husband was a porn star.
And she was like, no, I know that ball.
I know that ball.
I know that singular ball.
Yeah.
I've had to deal with that ball.
Yep, for so long. And I recognize that no mask or giant sombrero is going to cover up the fact that I see that ball and I know that ball.
Yeah.
Yes, that episode, he was a whole porn star. He had a whole
one
career with a one ball, and Christy was the one who was like, "Honey, we got to go through his computer when he's not home." We got to go through his files. I know his shit's locked. It's locked for, if your husband or your wife or your person that you live with has locked shit that you don't have access to, oh, hell no. You find access to that shit however which way you need to. Do you need to stage a break-in? You stage a break-in.
Yeah. The only thing you should hide from me is my presence that you're
buying me. 100%. Yep, exactly. But you need to buy a keystroke memorization software, or you need to do something. You got to get into that computer. You got to start doing some heist level Mission Impossible work, and you drop down from the ceiling if you need to. Hide in your own air ducts in your house. I don't know. You do something. You do something, because you need to find out what the hell's in that, and why don't you have access to it?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. And then, if you see the engagement ring, it's fine. You're gonna. You
can still act surprised.
We're
women. We're good at acting.
You were gonna find it anyways.
And you've been performing for years. So, correct. We've all been performing for years. We can all go,
I had no idea. Yeah, and you want to be able to be ready for that moment, have your nails done and your hair done and your outfit ready. Right. Anyways, and you're going to want to make sure that you have the right cut, like the shape of nail for the shape of ring, the cut that the diamond is. Do you want to go coffin? Do you want to go almond? So it's better to find that engagement ring anyways.
Yeah, because if it's not the engagement ring you find and it is the woman's
Nuva ring.
another woman's hoovering or a file full of their bad amateur porn that they've been being paid for on the side while they've been telling you they've been going on business trips, then we'll be talking about a different coffin.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Yeah.
Different set of nails, and that'll be the last nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and then in the coffin. That's
in the
good.
coffin. Yeah. Yeah.
That was
you
good.
like it?
Yeah, it was good.
I brought it back around. But yeah, that's the number one. That is my number one for 2021 for reasons to go through people's shit, because you never know. And I swear it always happens to the sweetest, most innocent, most trusting people who've called us. And they're like, well, I never wanted to thank or blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. You got to have a healthy level of skepticism, even about the person you live with. Because if you're having gut feelings, you got to investigate just to make yourself feel better, because even if you find nothing, at least you can sleep at night knowing nothing's going on.
Yeah, and then you're like me, and then you get annoyed that you didn't find anything. It's like, I mean, like, are you just like, this is boring? Like, let's spice this up.
Spice this up.
Yeah.
Let me find something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's one of my favorites, and there's a specific episode for this, but I think this ties into our lesson in being wary of love bombing. And that the type of person that's going to love bomb you is maybe more of a narcissist, or the reason why they're love bombing you is because they're trying to blind you from their flaws or their other wives. On top of all of that, I want to one up being wary of love bombing, because I think that was a huge lesson we heard over and over again this year.
We really did. I feel like we heard it more in this past year than we did in the first almost year of recording this.
Yeah.
But yeah, love bombing, man.
Yeah. A step further, be wary of, well, let's just say no to impulsive proposals. Specifically, Laura Dixon's episode 154. Look, if it's a quick proposal and you haven't got to know this person yet, why are they trying to get you governmentally tied?
Yeah,
governmentally tied down, and I will stand by my grammar.
Governmentally,
yeah.
Tied.
And why are they trying to do it so fast? And it's probably not gonna. Maybe you need to get to know that person a little bit more before you're governmentally tied down.
Yeah, let's make a hard and fast rule of let's not get engaged before 9 months.
Yeah,
you know.
Sure.
That's
a
good.
You could have the kid.
That's what I'm trying to say, because then then that also gives you enough time for the gestation period of, if he had another woman on the side and you didn't know about her, and that gives a good whole period of time for like that baby to find out about secret baby or secret marriage or any of that, or green card if they're looking for that. You can. I think 9 months is a good probationary period to give someone to figure out, like, is this real? It also gives you enough time to go through all their shit.
Correct.
Meet most of their family and friends.
Correct.
But I feel like if you want to if you are falling in love and you do want to get proposed, or you do want to get married quickly, I feel like that's a good time to still be like, it was 9 months from the time we met till we got married, till we got engaged.
Yeah.
That still feels short.
Yeah. For a kid to come
enough.
Around if there's a kid.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I seen that.
Anything earlier than that.
And... Correct.
Anything earlier than that, there's something else behind it and you can't trust it. But yeah, she and her grandma gave us the best advice.
I hope you have an FU fund.
An FU fund. Have an FU fund. She said it right in front of the dude too. Go grandma. I still love that. And
she knew.
And I stand behind that. I think with any time you get engaged, guys, gals, if you get in a serious relationship, you're tied down to someone, you best have an FU fund. Just in case. In case you get screwed over, you got to be ready to hit the road, Jack.
You got to get to Europe.
Don't come back. Got to get to Europe to drink, dance, and die. You got to do it. You got to have that fun, you know? Get out there. Get up under some kilts, Do what you got to do.
Correct. Blow some bagpipes.
Blow some bagpipes. A few of them. Another love bomb where she was totally swept off her feet, and he met all of the requirements she thought she was looking for at the time, and it was hot and sexy and fast until she finds out there is a straight up wife, was Meredith Edwards.
Yeah.
With the Outlander philanderer. And he was... We just were talking about Scotland and kilts. That's all happens in Outlander. But dude was so obsessed with this whole romantic idea of this time traveling show. And if you look past that, you'll see why he was so obsessed with that, because he was traveling away from his real relationship.
Correct.
Falling into the arms of this hot flight attendant that he was just trying to get in the pants of.
Yeah. I'm always like, I mean, sure, there's always a lust period and like you're in the clouds in the beginning of a relationship, but that's natural. But eventually, you can't, precipitation happens and eventually you fall down, and you got to give the relationship time to fall out of the clouds and to come down to reality. I see where you're going with
that now. Okay.
See, you saw it?
Mm-hmm. I saw it.
And that also naturally happens. And I think the truth comes out, not that it's bad, but, everybody, the dust settles and you get a little bit tired and sometimes your cranky side falls, or like your other family accidentally slips out of your mouth. And you got to give a relationship time to get to that point and see if you can still stand that person when they're not at their best before you marry them.
That's right. Yeah. Because early stuff, it's so easy to get swooned and God, one that which I would kill to get this lady on the podcast one day, but that podcast we listened to, the Dr. Death podcast, that chick who was the reporter, or she worked for like CBS
Dateline.
Or whatever. Dateline, that's what it was. She worked for Dateline.
She was a producer, right?
Yeah, and dude, like, promised her this whole wedding and said the Pope was going to officiate the wedding, and it was all going to be in Italy, and then she shows up. Well, I mean, there were billions of things in between from that time to when she caught him and everything, but man, and then she shows up with her buddies drunk in a wig and out in the what was Spain, like on the edges of Spain, shows
to
up
his family's home, with his children walking down the steps.
There's a whole ass family inside. Sometimes you gotta show up to the house.
You gotta go to his family home.
You gotta go see. You can't trust them. All right,
correct.
Dude, that whole we gotta get that lady on there. Let's put that out there for 2022. That's on our vision board. Let's get that chick on the podcast.
Dr. Death chick. Okay.
The Dr. Death. Her name was like Belvita, or what was her name?
It was Belvita. It was Belvita. I gotta go potty, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. But I can't hold it.
Go.
Hold it.
Okay, so we have recapped lessons that we have learned through our guests, and lessons that hopefully our listeners who are in relationships can learn from and keep in mind and write down going into this new year. But I think some of my favorite moments of the podcast have been learning things about both of us, Katherine. There were two things in particular that I learned about you that they hold a special little place in my tiny, tiny heart. And that is your first time kissing a guy, which took you multiple times, and you vomited. And then the
diarrhea.
The diarrhea. Wait, was there vomit, or was it only diarrhea? Was it both?
It was mostly diarrhea.
Mostly diarrhea. Okay, so diarrhea kisses. It's a lot like butterfly kisses, but a lot messier. And and then I think the most special is your first encounter with a peen. And how you weren't invited, and your friend was touching one, and you just went up and touched it as well. And that's so funny to me. I can't stop thinking about that.
I can't wait to tell you. Have I ever told you about my first time?
No. I cannot imagine.
Having sex? All right, I'll save that for the Ketchup episode. But
Please.
my life is just a reoccurring opening scene to like a rom-com when the hero just gets into an embarrassing situation. The movie just gets stuck, and it doesn't move on from that point, and it just gets more awkward, and that's my life, and it never, ever, ever ends. So,
oh my god,
yeah, I've accepted it at this point. And I just know the minute somebody walks up, I'm like, at one point, they're going to regret this encounter. And that's every interaction I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, and that goes back to another thing I wrote down, was learning that you panic lie. And I think that makes me really happy as well, when you just straight up just stare at people and be like, yeah, that is, yeah, I did, yep,
Yeah, I panic lie. Well, because I do admit that I don't know half of what anyone's talking about at any point in any time. Would be embarrassing. So I agree to references. I don't understand what they're talking about. I'll have a 30-minute conversation about a celebrity. I don't even know who they are.
You don't even know.
Yeah. And there's some I've said to some guests on here that I'll tell you offline. I think I've told you. But I've been like, I remember that situation with you.
Or no, I don't remember that. And then you actually do.
I absolutely do remember that. Yeah, and I'm texting you on the side. I'm like, I absolutely remember this.
You're like, I do. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, yeah. You'll just fully agree to be someone else in a conversation with someone. They'll think your, name's Ruth or something. And you'll be like, yeah, it is.
That's my name.
It's my name. That's fine. For the rest of this, the conclusion of this, throughout this conversation, I'm going to say that that's who I am, if that's what you think I am. And then I'm going to leave.
Yeah. I'm always, in my head, I'm always on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. We've learned a lot, Katherine. We've learned a lot about each other. I've learned a lot about myself.
I'm trying. So you had moments to prepare for this. I can't. In my head, I can't think of anything I've learned.
I learned that thongs hurt.
Yeah,
I learned that. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we're done with thongs.
Done with thongs in 2022. Am I wearing one right now? Yeah, of course. Is it painful? And that's why I thought about this. Yeah. That's exactly.
And they cause infections.
Yeah, now I'm thinking. Now I'm actively thinking about it. And I'm actively buying underwear that cover my ass.
The whole thing.
This point.
The whole thing.
It's no need to have it up there.
Yeah.
No need. I also learned that my feet are beautiful, and I didn't know that. So now I know that I have a future career in feet fetishes on the internet. So if anyone's looking to buy pictures of my feet, I'll do whatever. I'll step in jelly, or I don't know. What do people like you to do with your feet? I don't know. But I have feet, and they are on wiki feet.
In my head, this is whenever I think of sounds so weird. Foot porn, all I think about, there's like a red boa, and then on top of the red boa is a foot. And the toes are intertwined and wiggling around like one of those old spiral home phone cords. I don't know why, but when I think about feet porn, it's like one of those like kind of fuzzy, sexy like phone lenses or camera lenses, and there's like a boa, and then on top of it, you know what I'm talking about, the old phone cords that was attached to into your kitchen phone, and there's just and it's like tan, and there's just a foot with red painted toes, and it's just kind of like tickling it and like going in and out.
Yeah, I feel like I just learned a lot more about your childhood, and I don't know if that's a memory.
I don't know why that's in my head.
I don't know if that's something you pictured.
Like I saw it on Nickelodeon or something.
Nickelodeon, or maybe when your mom would have long conversations with her friends or family in the kitchen.
Maybe.
Did she have her foot propped up on the kitchen table?
So. I don't.
And was there a red feather boa? And did she twirl the other side of the
I don't know.
The telephone cord with
I
her
do
long,
think there's
long
a lot
toes?
of my memory that I've blocked out.
I think so too. I think that's a good possibility that your mom probably used to twirl the phone cord with her toes.
Yeah.
And you've blocked it. Yeah. Well, and if that's not it, at least now I have a solid direction of where I'm going to go with my feet porn.
I'll direct it.
Please, I need you to direct it. And I love this idea. And should I get like acrylic toenails?
No, and then we'll get and then it'll move over, and then like the next, there's a razor phone, and you flip it open with your big toe, the razor phone.
Yeah.
And then you start typing on T9.
Yeah,
a little
with
message with your toes.
That is talent.
Mm-hmm.
That's some talent.
Talent. Yeah. That's it.
Talent. That's it.
Hey, we're looking to score some talent tonight.
Yeah, that'd be quite the feat.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave. Yeah, that wasn't as good. I'll get out.
No, it was
I'll get out of the car.
Yeah. Okay, we learned a lot this year.
We learned a lot.
Lord knows what's next to come in 2022.
There's no telling.
What confessions are we gonna have? I hope not many, for my sake. But thanks for sticking around with Cheaties, and we already have like 4 or 5 phenomenal guests lined up.
That's
to
right.
bring you in the beginning of the year, and we're in what, halfway through season 4?
Yeah, so season 5. Okay, so this is all going to come down in March. So March 2022 will be our 2-year anniversary. It will be we'll hit our 200th episode somewhere around that same time, and it'll be the start of our season 5. So all that comes in March. So we're going to get big plans for that. We're already going to be part of a festival here in Atlanta. And this one's going to be, we're going to do a live recording at a festival, at the West End Festival, the weekend of February 11th and 12th. I don't have our specific date and time yet, but we will be recording a live podcast indoors with microphones, headphones, live guests, and live audience. It's going to be tons of fun, and there will be no children and no police involved this time at this live recording. So we've got lots of good things planned ahead for us in 2022 for this podcast, for us individually. It's going to be a big year, Catherine. It's going to be a really big year.
We already got sponsorships lined up.
We got sponsorships.
We get to announce. We already kind of announced it, but they're continuing with us for the beginning of the year. So, I mean, we rich.
We are hundreds of dollars richer than we were before. But I'm super excited. I'm really looking forward to this year. Looking forward to our guests. Looking forward to traveling with the pod. Looking forward to so many good things. And I'm definitely looking forward to our Ketchup episode that'll be coming up in the next few days at the end of this week, where I get to hear about the first time you had segs.
And we get to hear about your New Year's Eve / B-Day trip to New Orleans.
That's right. So yeah, we'll be covering all that in the Ketchup app, and I'll tell you all about my trip to New Orleans and my birthday party that happened in Atlanta before we left for there. So many good things. So much to come up to. That doesn't make any sense. So much coming up to tune in for. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for supporting Cheaties. Those of you who've been here, we thank you so much. We're bringing you so much more this year. Those of you who are new, man, you're in for it.
Welcome to hell.
Don't forget to go and leave us some reviews on iTunes if you've enjoyed it. We still have merch for sale, so check that out. CheatiesPodcast.com. Go follow us on Instagram if you're not doing that already, all that good stuff. And watch this episode on YouTube, where you can catch all of our recorded Ketchup episodes, all of our non-interview guest episodes. You can catch on YouTube nowadays.
In the meantime, stay stabby. We love you. Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.